Good evening. My name is Alan. My pronouns are he, him. And this evening in my time, I'm facilitating a session of Rapscallion. This is the PBTA pirate game currently in Ashcan version from Magpie Games. So we are working from the Ashcan. My hope is that it will become a full-fledged game in the next year. I've played it a couple of times, run it a couple of times, but I'm keen to kind of push the rules to the edges a bit. This game is organized as part of the Gauntlet RPG community Hangouts calendar, our game calendar, our monthly calendar. That calendar, if you don't know about the Gauntlet, then you really should look it up. It's gauntlet-rpg.com. And there you will find not just loads of really great players like the ones with me tonight, playing dozens, hundreds of games on a monthly basis. But you will also find there the various podcasts the Gauntlet runs. Fear of Black Dragon, Plus One Forward, the Gauntlet podcast itself, Farrier's Bellows, all of these are run out of the Gauntlet. And if you decide that you would want to support the Gauntlet by joining its Patreon, then there are several levels of entry. At one, you get priority access to join these games via the calendar. But below that level of access, you also get to the monthly zine, the Gauntlet Codex, which is much more than a zine these days. It's a pucker magazine, and the Gauntlet is also now beginning to publish its games from creators connected with the Gauntlet. Most recently, we're waiting for the Hearts of Wulin Kickstarter to come to full fruition. It had a great Kickstarter. We're waiting for the products. Trophy and Trophy Gold are about to be kickstarted, I think, in a matter of a week or so. So do come and join us. The Gauntlet's a great place and a really enjoyable place to play games. So this is Rapscallion, the Pirate PBTA. And what I'd like to do is, if I can, in character keeper order from left to right, could I ask the players to introduce themselves and tell us a little bit about the character, the playbook, and the character that they are playing this evening. To do that, I think I can play this game with, yes. So Paul, say hello and tell us about the captain. Oh, you're very quiet to the point of not being audible, Paul.
How about now? Better?
It sounds like you're shouting at a microphone in the other room.
Yeah, I was about to suggest that.
How about now?
Yeah. The trick was to use the microphone. Good call. Thank you.
Okay. Yes. Hi, I'm Paul, he, him. And for this game, I'm going to be playing Klaus Wichmann, the captain. And he is an old sea dog. He has seen many things, and in his travels, he has killed a titan, a leviathan that lives beneath the waves, and that has shook him to the bone. And he quite often wakes up in night sweats, normally from the waist down only. And yes, that has affected him massively.
Thank you. That's a good introduction. Moving along on the character keeper, I think next up, Will, say hello and introduce us to the playbook and the character.
Hi, so my name is Will, and I'm playing Percival Benson, who is, and I'm not sure quite how to pronounce this, the Mountebank. Is that right, I think?
Mountebank.
Mountebank, yep. The Mountebank. And he is somebody, well, he is a sparrow as well, so he is somebody who was trained from birth to be an assassin, and has also sworn a pact with a demon that provides him with powers, and also guides him along his missions, apparently. So we'll see how that goes.
Time will tell. Moving along, Mario, say hello and tell us about the playbook and the character.
Hey, so tonight I'm playing Lucia Janssen. She's a swashbuckler and has pretty rich parents. But is pretty new to the pirate world, so she got 1 year off and hired on a pirate ship, and then she has to return to her parents. So it's a short-lived mission, and she's ready to go full in. Yeah, that's the most notable thing about her.
I love it that this is her year out before college. Ferret, say hello and introduce us to your character.
Hello, I am Ferret, also known as Sawyer. I use any pronouns, and tonight I am playing Fiery Morgana the Matelot. And she has some guild connection. I'm not sure what guild yet. I think we'll hammer that out. But to me, it was some kind of entertainers, but like people for pirate entertainment, where, the people you throw daggers at for bets, or eating fire, or poking a Leviathan baby until it does something. The weird performance art. And I think she just got tired of staying in the bay and finally joined up on a ship with her abilities to fight off people who want to grapple with her in ways she's not a fan of coming in handy.
That's lovely. Yeah. I like the idea that she has kind of decided that there's more interest from the story she's been told when she goes to sea. So, okay. So some questions then. Yeah. Can I go back round to the captain, please? It says, in addition to your kit, you have a mysterious old map claiming to lead to the treasure. How did you obtain it? Mark its treasure with an X on the world map. Now, just for our many viewers, whoops, daisy. There we go. We do have an outline world map. The stuff in the top right is the stuff that I generated in a previous game. So I want to leave that there because I just like the idea of this world growing. So can you all see that map? Because what I need the captain to do is to mark with an X or something similar where the treasure is according to his treasure map. What's your thinking, Paul?
Is that on a tab? Because it's pretty small to me.
No, sorry, it's a separate sheet. Let me put
I've put the link in the
thank you.
chat.
You have edit rights. It's in the Rapscallion folder, but there's the link.
Okay. Yeah, so I'm thinking let's go for halfway between the Pirate Haven and St. Sucre, is it?
Yeah.
Yep, about halfway between the two.
Okay, if you put it on there, we'll come back round to you in a bit.
You're muted, Alan.
Our regular viewers would know that I was doing that deliberately, of course, because I always do. So, Percy, your demon is eldritch and ancient. What is its current desire? That was not what I was expecting to happen. The demon's desire cannot be to remove Will from the game. So I'm going to roll on to Mario's question. You are a creature, Mario, or rather, Lucia. You are a creature of passion. Which crewmate is your... Now, you get to choose. I'll come back to you, Will.
Yeah.
Lucia, which crewmate is choose greatest rival, or love interest, or close companion?
So do I pick all three or only one?
Just the one, I'm afraid.
Just the one. Okay. So If it's okay, I would say that Morgana is my love interest.
Does that work for Morgana?
I would. It would probably be one-sided, as I start with a token of affection from a romantic interest. I believe is one of my things. So I could also see rival, as we probably are like some of the only women on the ship.
Yeah, well,
Like we could just be trying to outdo each other, and
well, I think I would like to start with the love interest, and that very well could turn into rivalry. So
okay, so yeah, I'm down as long as it'll be sort of a tsundere, or I don't know what the other person senpai situation, I guess.
Okay, so if you put Morgana in there, Mario, let me go back to Will and say your demon is Eldritch and Ancient. What is its current desire?
I think its current desire is to steal the treasure that the captain is looking for.
Fine. So to steal the captain's treasure. Yeah. I'll come back to the nature that whatever we know about that treasure in a bit, Captain. Moving along then to Fiery Morgana. You will protect which of these three? The ship, a crewmate, or a lackey? Now, just to be clear, in the game, a lackey is a member of the crew who's not a player character. So which one of those would you protect at all costs?
Well, I was thinking the captain, but I mean, captains come and go. I've seen so many of them. I'm going to protect the ship.
That's great. Okay, so protect the ship. And then tell us, when have you failed to do so in the past? What were the circumstances?
I think this was before I was hired onto the crew, and I could have prevented someone from taking the ratting cat, or like some kind of what I thought was a meaningless crime, like, oh, they're taking a cat, or they're taking the fruit. What does that matter? Then you get on a ship. Oh, that mattered a whole lot.
So just so I'm clear, because you're protecting this ship, I think it's tighter if the thing you fail to do relates to this ship.
Yeah, I was thinking it was this ship, but before I was on it, I didn't realize the importance of what was lost.
Okay. So pick on something. Barrels of limes come to mind.
Yeah, I think to me it was just alcohol additives. I mean, you just put lime slices on drinks.
Okay, that works for me. So you are protecting the ship from a sense of guilt, I feel, to do with that error of judgment that you made back in the day. Okay. Now, let's go back to the captain. So you've marked that X marks the spot. What do we know about this treasure, Captain? Because it's possible that Percival knows about it as well. So what do we know about this treasure? Or don't we know anything?
No, we know that it's a fabled lost galleon.
That works. So the treasure, some treasure ship, some treasure galleon.
Yeah, we've got no idea what's on it. But yes, me and Percival go back some time, and he was with me when I got the map.
Okay. And presumably he hasn't shared with you the fact that his demon wants him to steal it. Okay.
That's why I was with him in the first place. The demon knew.
Right. I'm going to proceed with a question because that was clarifying your first answer. Your second question, you possess a title. Who did you sacrifice to get it?
I'm going with my previous crew, the crew of the Leaping Salmon. I sold them all into slavery.
My goodness me. Okay, we're off to a running start. I will at this point remind, because I think you've all played with me before, if there are lines and veils you want to add to the starting ones, because we're playing with lines and veils, they're on the tabs that you can have access to. If you want to add anything to that, then this is a good time to do it.
I did. So
Great.
I added religion as a veil.
Fine. Yeah. So if we encounter the priesthood, it's right. So just explain. Do we not want any kind of priesthood involved here, or?
No, I'm fine with having them in there, but I don't want to get into like overboarding religious discussions or having like crazy monotheistic gods ruling the world or something like that.
Oh, that's fine. In the very brief outline of the world in the Ashcan, this world is ruled by a queen, and quite the basis of her power is undefined. And I think my strong advice is let's not try to find out how far that power goes. So no, we don't have a problem with that. If there are priests, they will be, kind of Pirates of the Caribbean as priests, because that's certainly the feel that I'm going for here. So let's carry on with the questions. So what is your title then, Captain?
I think Count. Yes, Count.
Witchman. Okay, so you are, and is that widely known? Do the crew know this? That you are Count Klaus Witchman?
Yes, yeah, I think that's a reasonably open knowledge that I have sailed the seas under the title Count Captain. See, that sounds wrong already, doesn't it? Count Captain.
Well, you are the captain, but you can be Count Klaus Witchman. I will begin to struggle to say that, but I'm going to do my best. Okay. And just add that the leaping salmon was sold into slavery, would you? Just so I've got that little tidbit of detail to play with later on, perhaps. Okay, on we go to Percival. In addition to your kit, you have a dark token given to you by our demon representing your contract. Why did you make the deal? Well, tell me first, what is the dark token?
So the dark token is a very small stone statuette figure that I wear on a leather thong around my neck.
And is that intimately connected to the demon? For instance, were it to fall overboard, what effect would that have?
I think that it is intimately connected with the demon. I don't think I know what would happen if it fell overboard personally, because it's never been separated from me. But I like to think that perhaps it's one of those things that if I did try to get rid of it on purpose, it would keep showing up in like, as long as I'm bound to the demon, it would be like, oh, it's on my shelf, oh, it's in my pocket, oh, like, oh, you dropped this kind of thing. It would never go away, kind of stuff.
So you've not tried those experiments then?
No. But I feel like maybe it can be taken from me. But if I was to try and get rid of it, it would be like the bad penny that always shows up.
Okay, fine. I like that. And tell me, why did you make the deal? Because nobody makes a deal with a demon for no reason.
So my character is a sparrow, which is a secret assassin who was raised from birth to be part of some kind of guild. And I feel that the reason that I made the deal with Grandfather, the demon, is he promised that one day he would help me kill the leader of my guild and give me the power to do so. So.
Okay. So tell me about the guild then. What leaves you wanting to kill its leader?
I think it's just because it's the only way I can be free of the guild is to kill the leader of it.
So is this a guild that binds you almost mystically to obey its commands, or is there why do you keep doing what it tells you?
I think because then they would come after me.
Okay. So they are a vengeful Assassin's Guild.
Yeah, and the kind of it's been from birth, right? So this is all he's ever known. So even though he may have like an outward, he needs to do something in his head. He can only do something huge and drastic to get away from them. It can't just be as simple as I could just leave. Like from birth, he's been raised that, the I don't know, like the advise, like what's it called? The patrician. The patrician will find you. The patrician knows when you're lying. That kind of thing.
Okay, so the guild is led by the patrician. They are vengeful, and anyone who leaves disappears. And so, right, that seems reasonable. That the only way to get out from under that thumb is to kill the patrician. Okay, well founded or not, but that is a belief. Okay, moving along to Lucia. In addition to your kit, you possess a signature weapon, your most precious and powerful possession. Pick a weapon you can use. What's strange about it now? And you can use any close or reach weapon. And I think I did mention that there's a long list of weapons on the moves tab. What do you have in mind, Lucia, as your signature weapon?
That would be a whip. And there's something strange about it. And the whip, if that's okay, I would give it like a strange aura. I don't know if it's like magical or because there are stories about the whip, so it has been in family possession for like generations, and it's said to be cursed. But for some reason, I never really had an issue with that. I really felt attracted like to the whole story. And so I choose it as my weapon to go, and I practice a lot before I left my family's place.
If it's cursed, were they keeping it under wraps, or were they very happy for you to take it?
It has been an issue, but I stole it from the treasuries, and at one point my family found out, and they figured that I haven't been affected by the curse. So that was something I could use to get them on board to give it to me.
And it's been in the family a while then. So has anyone ever discussed the nature of the curse, or are they just pleased that you do not appear to be cursed?
Well, they are basically pleased that I'm not cursed, because nowadays they are all into trade and no one's really into arts or curses or history or anything. So they don't believe in magic or anything, or even curses really. That was just like something that grew with the family, and the weapon was said to be cursed, but no one was like really believing it, but they were really suspicious about this special item.
Okay, but it has an aura. Now, curse now is a kind of a fear, a rumor, a myth. What is the aura? So if somebody sees you wield the whip, what aura do you feel, or do they feel, or do people see? What is strange when you use it?
It seems to make a lot more wind than it should. So anybody close by feels like a little breeze.
Okay, now that works. We can only wonder where that artifact is going to go in the story. Fine. So if you can put that down, the cursed family whip that moves the air more than it should do. Fine. Moving along to Morgana. In addition to your kit, you possess a token of affection or a promise of a favor from an old friend. What faction does this friend represent? mark their location on the world map. Okay, well, let's start with this token. What token is it of affection or promise of favor?
It's a token of affection. It is a golden ring that probably was some pirate's earring, but got soldered together into a ring for a person's hand, and was given to me by someone, I'm not sure gender representation or sex, who became my lover the day before I went off on the ship, as a promise to get me to come back, basically.
And is that clearly they feel that's binding? Does Morgana feel it's binding?
Morgana feels it's binding, and it'll also tie into her superstition.
Okay, so let's first of all then you say from your faction. Now,
Yeah.
Now there are some kind of big factions in the world. There's the Navy, the Bucketheads. There's the Wardens, who are there be wardens to the south seas. One doesn't traverse the South Seas for fear of the Wardens. But before we started playing, you talked about whether you were part of a guild of entertainers of some kind. Is that what we're talking about?
Yes, I think I've been thinking on this. I want to call them the Unbound, as they can perform for anyone. They will perform for anyone as long as you have money, stolen or not. We'll do a show.
So they're a guild in the sense of they have a connection. Are they organized, or are they?
They're organized in I think it's sort of like that Game of Thrones thing where there was that actor who was trying to go against the guild and they cut off some of his limbs or something. It's like it's the mafia but full of artists.
The artist mafia. That's a really nice.
The Bohemian Mafia.
Better still. The Bohemian Mafia. Thank you. Okay. And mark their location on the world map. So again, you've got the chart. You could place this person in one of the existing locations. The Pirate Haven is a group of old pirate ships that are lashed together and act as a kind of place where pirates can have safe haven. So you have a core of these ships bound together, and then ships that arrive anchor around the edge of it. The Black Port of the Restless Dead. The Restless Dead are zombie plague doctors. In a world where there is little in the way of universal health care, it is the Restless Dead who you go to be cured of things peculiarly. So I imagine them with those long kind of 17th century plague masks. Mermaid's Cove, all I have is a name for that. I know no more about it than that. Or you could add something to the map.
I think I'm going to add a free port to the map, where that means, I guess, like anyone can dock there. That there is no authority. You are your own authority.
The simple way to do that, just pick a shape from the drop down and then add a bit of text, and we can always tidy it up between sessions. So feel free to place that wherever you want. And while you're doing that, I'll go round to the captain again. This is your ship, Captain. How did it come into your possession? Because you implied that this is a relatively recent acquisition.
Yes, I won it in a drinking contest.
Like that. Okay. You look hard drinking in that illustration. So you won it in a drinking contest. Who did you win it from?
Other pirate captains, 4 of them, but the only one left in the end was Captain Tricky, he goes by. and yes, I managed to outdrink him by lacing his drink with drugs that made his drink more potent, so he fell over more quickly.
Right. So you cheated. Okay. Well, do you want to add something to the map to show us where Captain Tricky is now beached? And just so I'm clear, did you inherit the crew of Captain Tricky as well as the ship?
No, the crew I've just got the ship, and basically I raised a crew from where we won the ship from in port.
Given that we know that Morgana has some longer term attachment to the ship, Morgana, are you the sole survivor, the last remaining member of Captain Tricky's crew, or were you hired on at the same time as everybody else?
I think I was the first hire as I was coming to Captain Tricky I think Captain Tricky was a regular of the Unbound. I've made a Glimmer Isle as the free port. And I think it was one of the things, like Captain Tricky had given her the money to go get the signature weapon she has, and she was coming back like, well, I'm on the crew now. Oh, there's a new captain. Well, I'm on the crew now.
Yeah, I have my signing on papers here. So yeah, back to Captain, Count Witchman. Count Witchman, where is Captain Tricky beached? In one of the existing locations, or you can add a location?
I think I'll add a location. So yeah, I'll just put something on the map.
Fine. And then go back around to Percival Benson. One of the crew, and by that we mean one of the player characters, knows your secret, i.e. the demon.
Oh, okay. It's the demon.
Who have you told?
Okay. I think I've told Morgana about it.
So Morgana knows about the demon. When you say she knows, does she know that you have a demon attack? You know, that's kind of invisibly sitting on your shoulder?
Yeah, I think Morgana has seen me do weird stuff, and I think she knows that the reason I can do weird stuff is specifically because I'm bound to a demon. But I don't think that she knows what the demon wants. You know, I think that's secret to everybody.
Okay, so from Morgana's point of view, this seems like a win-win. You get to do weird stuff. Okay, you put up with a demon.
Yeah, I think I would also include that perhaps I'm not sure how secret my role as a sparrow is in this world, but I would suggest that it's also secret from everybody, and that Morgana knows that as well, and that's why she thinks I've got the demon, and it's like part of my weird Assassin's Guild stuff.
Yeah, that's very good. You know, like, well, we have patrons, you have demons.
Yeah,
tomato.
Yeah. And I think I think the reason I told you is because you got me very drunk.
Right, because I was going to ask how Morgana came to know. So this was a drunken conversation. Yeah. So has Morgana ever seen you do some weird stuff, or did you do it as a dare while pissed?
I wanted to offer a suggestion that maybe during one of my fire eating shows, I saw like an aura or like a shadow behind you. Like I've seen the demon. Not sure what I've seen, but
I like that. Could I maybe suggest that we did a load of hallucinogenics as well, and we both saw it? We could both perceive it at the same time. Well, I don't know if that's maybe not appropriate.
Who doesn't eat fire while on hallucinogenics? Ayahuasca all the way.
Exactly. Yeah.
No, I don't think we've either lined or veiled hallucinogenics. So unless somebody wants to put that in the table now, you can certainly have both seen something. I might come back to you later on to ask what you see or what you did see, because I'm curious if we're ever going to see the demon in this series, I have to say. So thank you, Percival. You can fill something into that effect, I think. And we move on to Lucia. You know someone important from a faction. Who is it? Well, do you want to tell us which faction? And I think it's worth at this point me just making clear which factions are available. Hang on. There are some big factions, or you can pick some other ones. Bear with a second. Here we go. So, yes. So, the Navy, the Ironclads, the Silver Moths, the Right Hand of the Law, the Bucketheads. The Navy keep the peace on the Queen's seas. We've talked a bit about the old wardens. There's a bit of the South Sea where no one goes. The sailors sail around it and navigators don't speak of it. It doesn't show up on maps apart from in tall tales. And exactly what or who the wardens are, or why or when they arrived there, nobody knows. So there are two. Then we have the Restless Dead. I've talked a bit about those. As it says in the book, in a world without universal health care, but with a great deal of weird magical plagues, a dangerous cult of carefully curated zombies with medical experience suddenly doesn't seem like a terrible idea. So there's that as a faction. But then we have the Pirate Kings. Now, we've hinted a little bit at pirate captains here. The 7 Pirate Kings are commanders of fleets, hoarders of treasure, and fierce hunters of huge swathes of the ocean. So there's the Pirate Kings exist as and I suppose technically 7 different Pirate Kings. And then we have the Sharks. Money buys you anything, even the loyalty of the Queen. So the merchant kings sail freely using their mighty banks and protected trade ships to shield themselves from Navy law. So we've got a merchant class, we've got the Navy, we've got 7 Pirate Kings, and we've got the Restless Dead on the table already. Do you want an acquaintance in one of those, or do you want to describe a faction or a guild that could fill another hole in the world? Or I can do it for you.
Sorry, I'm not. Who did you address?
Oh, sorry, that was Lucia. So yes, Mario.
Okay. Yeah. So I already had this idea that that I got this like childhood friend, but because my family is a family of traders, we moved more often. So I haven't seen him in a while, but rumor has it that he is now going by the name Lucas Lightbearer, and he's one of the Restless Dead. And I see him as an older brother, but as I haven't seen him in a couple of years, I don't know where we are now.
Okay. Yeah, and so presumably he went away to study medicine, being older than you. And then something happened to him. ... And now he's a zombie plague doctor. Okay, that's brilliant. That's tremendous. In fact, I want to do more with the Restless Dead. And then Morgana, the sea has done things to you. Now, given that up until now you've been more landlocked, it could be the coastal seas have done things to you. What superstition will you follow at all costs?
Oh, I've heard rumors of pirates and ship captains and just other people on the sea removing jewelry and then coming back to port and finding their loved ones no longer loving them, or that their friend has passed on or moved away. So if you remove jewelry that someone gave you, that you didn't purchase on your own, you're going to lose the connection you have to them. So keep all jewelry on at all times. Totally safe on a ship. And
jewelry, are we using that quite broadly, or are we talking
like
about
earrings, necklaces, rings, anything that is a piercing or an adornment to me is
fine.
Yeah.
Okay, so not something like a favored weapon, but something that's decorative.
Yes.
Okay. Fine. I think that gives us enough to be going on with at this point. Now, just to check, everyone should add something to the map. So I'm just checking. Morgana has added the Glimmer Isle, where her lover is located. Captain Tricky. Oh, that's a great picture. Captain Tricky is imprisoned on the Isle of Dread. So the captain's put that down there. And we also have a fabled treasure galleon wreck marked with an X as loot. I think that means at this point, Percival, you're the only person who has not added something to the map. What would you like to add to the map?
So, there's the Black Port of the Restless Dead, Mermaid Cove, the Drowned Temple, and Saint Sucre. So, where was any of these home to the what are they called? The Merchant Guild, like the sharks.
I think probably San Sucre. San Sucre is what passes for civilization in these parts.
Okay. And so that would be the home to both the sharks and probably the bucketheads as well, to a greater extent. Like,
yeah, although you can place them somewhere else.
Yes, I think I will do. I think I will make a fort, a sea fort, for the bucketheads operate out of. And
Fine.
that will be Fort Windblown.
Okay. I did have somebody play that one with me once to say it was called Fort Itude. I know it's worse now than it was then. So fine, add that to the map. Captain, you've added Captain Tricky, you've added the loot. Morgana, you've added the Glimmer Isle, but that's because one of the questions required you to do it. Everybody adds one detail plus whatever the questions demonstrate. So Morgana, you can add another item or detail to one we've already got.
I'm sorry, I was looking at chat. I can add another item to the map, or
you could add some detail. So you could put something else into San Sucre if you wanted to, or you can embellish one of the existing locations or add one yourself.
I think I'm going to start fleshing out Mermaid's Cove, and that's probably a punny way to say it, because in a Japanese myth, eating mermaid flesh will make you immortal. And I think this is a place where it is rumored that one can find mermaids if they're lucky. I mean, no sailors ever had a mermaid sighting or anything. So, I mean...
Can I suggest it's perhaps somewhere where mermaids can be protected or protect themselves, that they are hunted across the seas, but they have some kind of bastion?
Yeah, I like that. Maybe like there's like a not like a religious place, but like an orphanage or a charity house, and like it's just known that some of these people are probably mermaids come to land.
It just occurs to me if somewhere's called Mermaid Cove, then they could be hunted to extinction in one location very swiftly. So,
yeah.
Well, do you want to add something to the map that tells us that, and perhaps suggests who might be the, are the mermaids protecting themselves? Is somebody else set up this protective area for them? Just think about it and add something to the map to that effect. Yeah.
Yeah, that's good.
Then I think our map. Let's just.
I haven't really added anything yet.
No, you haven't. I'm sorry. No, you haven't. Go ahead. What would you like to add?
I think now that I got this whip and the curse and the stories of it, maybe rumor has it that the whip has been created by a long forgotten sort of wizard. Not really, because we don't believe in magic, but that was what everybody was telling about him. And there is this huge tower in the middle of the ocean, and it's just a tower, nothing else. And the whip has been crafted there. So I will add mysterious tower somewhere.
That's great. Thank you. And we'll determine whether it has anything at all to do with your whip, perhaps in play. So lots to play to find out, it strikes me. So thank you for that interesting bit of world building. We are just about ready for a break. So what I'm going to suggest is that we take, can we take a 10-minute break now? And then a couple of short ones later. And when we come back, we'll start in media res. Yeah. Okay. See you in a bit. Okay, we're back in the room. There was one bit of world creation, of course, I forgot, which is the name of the ship. If you scroll over to the far right-hand side of the character tab, you will find scattered down there. I can't quite remember why I scattered about, but we do need a name for your ship. So I don't know whether anybody wants to put some offers up, and then if it's a harsh decision, the captain can decide. But it was called the Leaping Salmon, but I'm assuming you didn't keep the name, Captain.
No, I didn't keep the Leaping Salmon. That went with the crew.
So let's Lucia, you've signed on. What was it about the ship's name that attracted you? So have you got a suggestion for a name?
Well, I do love pets, especially cats. So maybe the ship's name is the Black Cat, or
how do we feel about that?
Basic.
Yeah, the Black Cat it is. Okay, so if I put the Black Cat up there, with any luck in the following wind, that's now appeared in some of your bonds. I'd like Morgana. What was the distinguishing feature of the Black Cat that attracted you?
The ship head, which is a roaring tiger.
A roaring tiger,
which I
figurehead.
assume got added in after the Leaping Salmon was requisitioned.
That would make sense, wouldn't it? So roaring tiger figurehead carved from a leaping salmon.
Yeah, I think it was just the primal artistic choices made to make this thing.
Okay. So that's what attracted you to it. Percival, what's the most disconcerting feature of the Black Cat?
Most disconcerting feature of the Black Cat. I think it's haunted.
Did all the crew make it to slavery, Captain? Or were some of them a little resistant to going?
I think a lot of them were resistant to going into slavery.
Can I suggest that maybe many of the crew left behind jewelry? Or are we just keeping Morgana's thing as a superstition rather than a solid link?
She would have to be given the jewelry by someone for it to matter. If she just found it herself, it doesn't matter.
I was thinking more maybe like the crew of the ship left behind loads of jewelry on the ship and then they were sold into slavery, and those are like bad omens of their
oh god, that is. Their family will forget them forever.
And maybe one of the ways that we're haunted is that you keep finding this jewelry.
Ooh, I like that.
So is it fair to actually say you're haunted by the jewelry of the former crew?
I mean, I'd say that's certainly what Morgana thinks, right?
I think like everyone's haunted in their own way. Like Klaus probably sees the eyes and faces of those he sold into slavery in his dreams. Morgana finds jewelry. Percival hears the whispers of not just the demon, but better demons he could have made bargains with. Lucia, I'm not sure.
Well, don't throw too much at the other characters. Let's let them determine how they see this haunting. But I think Lucia certainly keeps finding jewelry. By the jewelry and other reminders of the former crew. Yeah? Okay. What is the most potent feature, Captain? Is this around speed or bulk, or what is it? What is it that makes the Black Cat feared on the high seas?
It's it's ram at the front. Probably because I want to shout ramming speed as often as possible.
Can I suggest that the ram is that the end of the ram is a cast iron leaping salmon?
Yeah,
because I quite like to keep the leaping salmon as an unfortunate reminder of its previous life.
Yes, yeah, that's perfectly fine.
So we won't have the leaping salmon as part of the old figurehead, but we will have the leaping salmon ram. Okay, so those are the distinguishing features. There are only 2 moves. If you scroll down those columns, you'll find that there are two moves associated with the ship. Man the cannons and fire as they bear, and steer the ship in a difficult maneuver, which I think would include ramming speed. Yeah. And you will notice there's a fairly primitive kind of damage track for the the track is called the wreck track. And so you start okay, then you get slowed down, and then you get sunk. But I'm sure that won't happen. Okay, so okay, Captain, where is the ship currently anchored?
I'm going to go for Pirates Haven.
Okay. Percival, what has the captain brought you here to steal?
Oh, why has the captain brought us here to steal? He's brought us here to steal a sea chart for the area where the map leads to.
He's got a treasure map.
Yeah, okay. No. I'm just trying to think of some way of tying it into this stuff. I'm coming up completely blank on what to steal beyond.
Okay,
money.
I'll move around. I'll come back with a different question for you. Lucia, what has the captain brought you here to steal?
If we are at the Pirate Haven, there are other pirate captains. In fact, the 7 pirate kings, and all of them have one special item that identifies them as the pirate kings. And we have, and rumor has it that there is maybe an eighth item, and we try to find that and become, maybe our crew tries to become the 8th faction of the pirates.
Okay. So the sign of the 8th pirate king. Morgana, do we know anything about the form this sign of the 8th pirate king takes, or is it an entire mystery?
I think it was a mystery until it was like some kind of riddle, and Morgana figured out it's not an actual symbol, but a tattoo design. So you get the tattoo on you. That's a symbol of the Pirate King.
Okay. So the 8th sign of the pirate king is a tattoo, and presumably that's unique. None of the other pirate kings have a tattoo.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, I think it's neat if we go with the idea Lucia has that they're all different, and maybe we can explore what the other ones are depending on how this goes. Percival, how did the fire start?
The fire started when a fight got out of hand and knocked over a lantern.
Captain, as you were approaching the location of where the 8th Pirate King symbol is supposed to be, well, where is it supposed to be? Where are you leading them to? Because we've had a lantern fall over in a fight. So I'm just curious where that is, Captain.
It's in the Inn of the Soggy Frog in the Pirates' Haven, a well-known establishment.
And presumably, it's deep in one of these hulks near the center. Yeah, and so this is where you come to get a lead, perhaps, on the detail of where this 8th, the design for this 8th pirate symbol is. Okay, Lucia, who's most at risk from the fire?
From the crew?
Take your pick.
Maybe that's Lucia, because Morgana certainly can handle fire, and Lucia is not really well with all the maneuvers, and she doesn't know all the hand signs people make when they should be quiet. So maybe she even stumbled over the lantern.
Well, let's leave Lucia in danger. We'll worry about exactly or threatened by the fire. Morgana, who were you fighting when you knocked over the lantern?
Oh, sorry, I had to cough right there. I think it was someone Lucia knew from her more upper class eras that was slumming it with the pirates like she is, and I think he came on to her too strongly, and I'm not about that.
Yeah, we'll worry about why Selby Smythe is at the pirate harbor, pirate haven. So the 4 of you are here ostensibly to get a lead on this sign, this tattoo design. Selby comes on a little strong to Lucia. Morgana intervenes. A lantern crashes to the ground, and now Lucia is trapped in a corner of the hold, deep in the bowels of this hulk, where the soggy frog is located. I know what Morgana's doing because she's looking down at the crumpled, unconscious body of Selby Smythe, I have a suspicion. But Percival, what do you do?
I think this would be a time to use. Wouldn't this be a time to use the move Twist Fate, perhaps, to try and find something?
To help our viewers understand a game that they may not have come in contact with, tell us about the move the first time you use it.
So Twist Fate, when you try to twist your fate, roll plus Spitfire. On a hit, you can pick one of the following options, and I'll just read through the options. Why I think it's the appropriate move, perhaps, is you remember something hidden in your pockets. What was it, and how did you get it? You notice something overlooked in the area that might help you. What is it? You find a flaw or vulnerability in your opponent. Describe it. The weather, the wind, or the tides change. How do they help? And the thing I think I'm going for is you notice something overlooked in this area that might help you.
Yes. It's a large pocket watch.
But you do not need to roll, Alan.
Well, no, I'm compelling bedeviled.
Oh, God. Okay, yeah. Is that something that happens to me?
You are bedeviled. Compel, because you start bedeviled. You can become unbedeviled by a hard-won moment of humanity. But at the moment, I am going to compel that your demon feels a desire for something. The thing you notice is a large gold pocket watch. And it looks like in the kerfuffle, it has fallen out of Smythe's pocket. And so, Captain, what do you do?
I would like to attempt to extinguish the fire, knowing how dangerous fire is on a boat.
The nice thing about the frog is that down here it's terribly soggy, so you don't have an immediate ship go up in flames issue, but that's no reason why you shouldn't try and put the fire out. What are you thinking? Which move are you looking at triggering? Because any offers? There's not a kind of generic do something active roll. So I'm thinking.
Could it be breakout?
I'm wondering if it's breakout.
Yeah.
Because you can look around for a source of water, or do you try to organize a bucket chain, Captain? Because you're in the bowels of a boat. There's not gallons of water around. Well, there's plenty the other side of that bulkhead. Now I come to think of it. You're muted.
Okay, I'm going to shout out to the patrons of the Soggy Frog. There be a fire. Get a bucket chain going. Get some water down here. And I'm going to try and command them to...
I thought so, yeah, because that does trigger when you choose a goal and command an interested crowd. And I think we can assume that the Soggy Frog's patrons are interested in putting the fire out. So roll plus polish, please. Did I give you the roll for your party? I think I did.
Yes, you did. I have polish of +2. And I still only get 6.
On a 6 or below, your command fails, or you can take the 7 to 9 result, but permanently lose rank equal to the bond you spent, your choice. Now, lose rank equal to the bond you spent, but you don't have bond with an interested crowd, do you? How does that work in the rules?
I'll just fail.
Okay, so there is now chaos as people, they are getting the idea to organize bucket chain, but they're doing it chaotically. People are rushing about. People are emptying bottles of brandy onto the ground to go and fill with water to try to put this out. Morgana, Lucia is behind what is quickly becoming a wall of flame as some drapes begin to burn. What do you do?
Well, I think I'm going to break into where she is and try and get her out of there. I'm not afraid of fire.
So is this, you do have a move, don't you?
I'm not using fisticuffs. I'm just doing the basic break in or out. When you see an opening to break in or out, roll plus blood. On a hit you've gotten in, yeah.
Roll plus blood to see if you can get to her and get her away in any way.
That is an 8.
And what I think it says is on a 7 or 8, 7 to 9, on a hit, you've gotten in or out. So you've got in, you've got through this curtain of flame to Lucia. Yeah?
Yes.
And choose one. On 7 to 9, the fates choose one as well. So which one of those do you want to choose? And I'll choose one as well.
I think I lose track of something important.
Oh, what if it was that ring?
The one from my lover?
The one that you really wouldn't want to lose.
I think that's too early for that.
Maybe
it's Shelby getting up and looking like pulling out a pistol.
Fine. So you lose track of young Master Smythe. Fine. And I will add, you hop from the frying pan into the fire, because those drapes have now come down and ignited the brandy that people have been pouring on the ground in order to get something to carry water in. And now there is an increasing roaring fire in between you and the others. Round we come again to Percival. The pocket watch is yours if you want it.
Yeah, so I was thinking...
Or do you stand fast? Do you stand your ground and deny the demon?
So I did think about that, but what I think happens is that all of this shenanigans is going on, the fire's exploding, while Percival just leans over and picks up the thing and starts looking at it, you know? And he puts it on even, and he's like, can sort of feels happy about it. And then he sees everything is suddenly on fire, and that Morgana is potentially about to get burned by this large brandy, as well as Lucia behind all of the things. And, you know, so I think he like looks to Grandfather, and he's going to try and evoke one of his demonic powers, because I see one which would be very useful in this situation.
Well, I think so. When you wish to evoke, then you roll, you spend luck and roll plus Spitfire.
Yep. So I will spend my luck and I will roll plus Spitfire. And that is a 7.
So a 7. So
Ooh.
you spent one luck, didn't you?
Yeah.
On a 7 to 9, you roll 1d to determine which of these powers, or you can take 1 harm and add or subtract 1 to the result. So
Okay.
roll a single d6 to determine which of these powers the demon is prepared to put your way. Because I think Grandfather doesn't see what that's got to do with a watch.
Yeah, no. I got 3, and I'll spend 1 harm to bump that down to the 2 that I want it to be.
So, Abadan, for a scene, you are immune to fire or heat. Fine, okay. You and all your possessions, I think we'll rule that as.
Yeah.
Captain, there's chaos. You can see Morgana has got kind of an arm around Lucia behind this roaring conflagration. You don't know what Percival's doing, but it doesn't seem like anything useful, but at least he's not rushing around like a headless chicken.
I would like to size up Smythe.
Go ahead. Size him up. So roll plus vinegar.
A total of 6.
I hope you are marking experience for these terrible failures, by the way.
Yes. So what's the failure on this one?
When you size someone up, roll on a hit, hold 2. On 7 to 9, they hold 1 as well. Spend, hold, blah, blah, blah. I think you just waste time.
Okay.
Trying to come to a conclusion about him, which means that I think probably you don't notice that he's shooting his pistol at Morgana.
Okay, yeah, I will do nothing in that situation.
Now, Morgana, you lost track of him, but as you get Lucia up and you back off behind the flame, you can see him through this curtain of flame, leveling a pistol at you. What do you do?
If Morgana is around, Lucia definitely wants to impress her. And she did some gymnastics back in her childhood, and she most definitely would like to run up the hull. It's like there's this little curve. It's not like a straight wall, and then do a backflip over the fire. And now I think if this is a miss, I'm in the way of the shot accidentally.
I think that you have triggered when you make a move with outrageous style.
Yeah.
The move is called Flourish. Roll 3 dice instead of 2 and take the 2 smallest results to add a flourish. So I think you've got an option here. You take the lower 2. If you do so and succeed, choose something. So let's see what happens.
Do I add any of my stats?
I think that this probably counts as breakout. So I think you're rolling plus blood.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, so my two smallest dice are a 1 and a 3 plus the 2 blood. I'm still at a 6.
Remember, you don't have to add the flourish. You can always default away from taking the two lowest ones. You just don't do anything terribly impressive to impress Morgana.
Okay. Well, in that case, I'm not used to do backflips in a ship. And maybe it isn't as elegant as I would like it to be. In that case, I would have an 11.
So 11 on breakout. On a hit, you've gotten out. On 7 to 9, but you choose one. On 7 to 9, I get to choose one, but I don't because you didn't roll 7 to 9. So pick one. You suffer harm or weakness. You hop from the frying pan to the fire. You lose track of something important. You leave evidence or attract attention.
Well, I think I will attract attention.
But it's the wrong kind, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's what's that clumsy woman trying to do something impressive and just kind of stumbling out of the flame unhurt. Yeah?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Morgana, Lucia has taken matters into her own hands. What are you going to do as Smythe levels his pistol at you?
Are we in like the belly of the ship? Like this is the part that's underwater?
Deep down, yeah. The hen's so soggy.
Ooh. Okay. Well, we didn't find what we came for. It's probably not that big of a deal anyway. I mean, what's one ship when you break the hull and stop the fire by letting it flood in?
So I think that is fisticuffs. Your fists are two harm close weapons. When you want to bust through something, take the angry or bloodthirsty weakness and roll plus blood.
Well, I'm trying to think. With script like or with a knife fight or trying to get in. Since I only have a knife and a cutlass, I couldn't bum rush Smythe and fight him, could I?
You could use fisticuffs on him just to burst through him. In effect, just ignore the flame.
That's what I want to do.
Yeah,
I want to use fisticuffs on him then.
So angry or bloodthirsty?
Oh, I'm going to say bloodthirsty.
Fine. So mark bloodthirsty. And you burst through the flaming tables and chairs and drapes between you and him. And in the words of the move, roll plus blood, and let's see exactly how well it goes.
Oh dear, for him, that's an 11.
On a hit, you destroy any object in your way. Describe to me the condition of Smythe when you reach the other side of him.
I think like Morgana leaps in front, like, does that, tries to do a flourish, like kind of trips and gets in the way of the gun. He smiles and he's about to say something witty or quippy. And that's where like there's just this echoing thunderous footstep. He looks up and Morgana just punches into his face and the camera pans away and we see blood and teeth land. And we never see Smythe after that. It is too gruesome for the camera.
Okay, yeah. As PG-15, this is two. So yeah, we see a smattering of blood and teeth coming onto screen, and Smythe is no longer part of this story, or at least not in a form we would recognize him in. So you're the other side of the flames, Captain. You've not had a lot of luck so far. What are you tempted by?
I'm tempted to break out of this location, really get to the surface, because I think it's going to go up in flames.
Okay, so go ahead, roll plus the blood to break away, to get out of the soggy frog, because there's chaos now. There are people bringing half-filled brandy bottles back and emptying it on the flames very ineffectively.
Okay, that's a 7.
On 7 to 9, so you get out, but you choose one of those 4 options.
I'm going to say I leave evidence leave evidence that we were there.
Right, and that this conflagration, however bad it gets, is down to the crew of the Black Cat.
Yeah.
And yeah, okay. And I get to choose one as well. I'm going to have you hop from the frying pan into the fire, and I'm going to have a whole band of other pirates converging on the top deck of the Soggy Frog, looking for troublemakers. So you emerge to see a wall of pirates charging towards you. We'll come back to you in a minute. Percy, what's your thinking?
Well, I think the idea with getting immune to the fire was that basically, as the rest of his crew is, being menaced by the flames, perhaps, Lucia, the ship like pitches or something in all of the, or something sets on fire next to it. And as she like stumbles back into the fire, Percival just like walks, is basically standing in the fire and just goes like, easy there. And then I think he'd just be like basically using his ability to lead the rest of the crewmates out, like just kind of like standing back and be like, after you, very polite and very like kind of just slightly surreal as he just stands not bothered by the fire at all.
Like maybe there's this door on fire that you open up and just hold.
Yeah.
There's a door that no one's using, so that the chaos is going up and down the main kind of access way, and there's this flaming door that you're able to just open very easily and find another way to the surface. Yeah. Lucia, Morgana, do you take the offered route out?
Of course.
Yeah.
I think Percival goes, ladies.
You are much too kind.
And so you make your way up this kind of ladder way to the poop deck. That's about as far as my nautical terms go, so forgive me. So you make your way up to the poop deck, and down in the waist of the ship, the main body of the ship above the hold where the soggy bottom is located, you can see the captain surrounded by angry pirates who think he's got something to do with what's gone wrong, because somebody's charged out with their with a bucket saying it was his lot. So Captain, I'll give you a chance to do something first before I ask the crew what they might do to help you or not.
I'm going to say to these hoodlums that have surrounded me, gentlemen, I think you've got me confused with another man. It was Captain Tricky down there that started the fire. So I'm going to attempt to hoodwink them.
Go ahead with hoodwink. When you hoodwink someone with a clever lie, roll plus polish.
So that will be 10.
It was bound to get better sooner or later, Captain.
It needed to.
On a hit, you've pulled it off, and there is no catch. And somebody says, Tricky? Has Tricky escaped? And they charge into the bowels of the ship in search of the imprisoned, or so-called imprisoned, Captain Tricky. Crew, Captain, you are reunited on the poop deck. What do you do?
Did we get what we came here for, men and ladies?
No, I'm sorry, Captain.
I think Percival's looking at the watch on his hand, and he just starts to nod and then looks around and goes, no.
Very well. We need to get some more clues. Maybe that man that was attacking you, maybe we could find out where he lived.
Yes, very much where he lived. You got the tenses right.
Excellent, because we don't take prisoners.
Aye, Captain.
So are we suggesting going back down there to find Smythe, or?
I think that maybe Percival goes, okay. Oh, did Smythe have it this whole time? One moment, and then goes back down into the fiery depths of the the thing.
And returns.
Percival.
Yeah.
Press of evade. What about like we're looking for precious things? Maybe we should look in the captain's cabin. Why would he have it on him?
Oh, but this is a tavern type ship, isn't it? Rather than Smythe's personal ship, I believe.
It is. It's one of the hulks at the center. And I mean, I was going to ask you, what clue were you expecting to find here? Because you weren't going to just find the design pinned to the wall, I'm assuming. So what was the likelihood of finding it, or were you looking for a contact? Was there someone you were supposed to find, Captain?
I think we were looking for a contact. Yes, a contact that was in another location.
So let's say that she is called Savannah Sampson. And Savannah is an information broker. And you'd arranged to meet her in the Soggy Frog. But unfortunately, this fracas broke out, and either she never made it into the frog or she got out before the rest of you. So it is possible, you hope, that she's somewhere else in the Pirate Haven. You've diverted attention from yourself to the escaped Captain Tricky. What do? Captain?
I think, gentlemen, they may work out that Tricky isn't down there, and that may lead them to us. In fact, I'm pretty sure it will lead them to us. So let's try and find this woman, this Savannah, quickly, and then be on our ways with the information we need. If we need to bring her with her, so be it.
What's the strategy then? How are you going to find Savannah Sampson?
I think if I can, since I have the faction of the Unbound, maybe I can ask around the people who perform at these different pirate places about what's going on.
This is not a principally investigative game, so there's no investigation move. But
I think this is like a parlay. Like I'm going to be asking people about it, perhaps.
Fine. So, yeah. So when you parley with an interested party, offer something and roll plus polish. So now we cut. I think at the end of that scene, we cut to somewhere else in the Haven. Is there a place where the Unbound are located? You know, do they have a portion of one of the ships here that they've taken for themselves?
I think it's an old merchant's vessel. Like it looks very out of place from these pirate ships. It's like very much more pretty, and it's the guild headquarters where all the artists come to sleep at night or after their performances are done, whenever they perform.
Okay, well, just so we can then finish a final bit of, because I wanted to get you into the action a bit quick. So what I would like to know is, based perhaps on that scene or what we now know about our characters, we've seen them in action. I want to know where your ranks are sitting. So, I mean, Captain, you have 4 ranks to allocate to your crewmates, and I've put the one rank to the Black Cat in. How do you want to allocate your ranks to your crew? You've got 4 to split between the 3 of them.
I'm going to go with 1 in each, apart from Percival, who I will take. Well, in fact, can I go with an extra 1 in the Black Cat?
Oh, you can. You can.
I will do that then. I don't know how to change that 1. Where do the actual numbers go in?
Well, where the Black Cat is a special case because I put a formula in there. I'll alter that to 2. So empty 2 of the ticks out of the Black Cat, and then just edit Morgana bracket 1, and the others bracket 1, and untick one of the spaces. Yeah. What about you, Percy? You default to having 1 with your demon grandfather.
I do.
But you have 2 others to allocate. But you can allocate some of those crew member ones into grandfather.
Oh, so I have 1 automatically with my demon.
Yeah.
I thought I just had two total to allocate, and I could choose
maybe
to
that.
allocate it to my demon, or I could
Oh
just.
no, I think you're right. Actually, yeah. I think that
So-
is this. Yes, I thought it was more. I thought it was more flexible than that. So lovely.
Yeah, I think it seems like the Mountebank doesn't actually have much bonds going out to other in ranks to go out. So I think I have rank with Morgana. And I was looking at the rules actually, and I worked out what the difference is between rank and bond.
Go on.
Rank is like what your permanent tie with someone,
Mhm.
and bond is like hold basically that you spend from rank.
Right.
So like
And
it goes back up to whatever level of rank you have with someone per session, and then you can spend it. If you got 2 rank, you can spend 1 bond, then you'll have one bond left over in your pool of 2 rank.
yeah, I get that. But do you ever roll for rank alone?
No, you just roll for bond. Roll plus bond. Like
Right.
that's what
Yeah,
I can see.
I think that's a bit I can't get my head around.
Yeah.
But
One thing I can't get my head around is there any way to acquire bond beyond like the moves? Because I have a very simple one where I can sacrifice with my rank with other people to change it to my demon, or I can do vice versa by denying the demon. But like it means I'm always going to only be tied to Morgana in that way rather than the rest of the crew.
You need to have a like very interesting character moment with someone. I think is that how you get
That's
that?
for luck, though. I
that's
think.
luck. Yeah. No, I think it's odd.
Oh.
You can spend bond to help yourself. If it replenishes your playbook, gives you rank to allocate to any current line. Blah, 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 blah. No, there doesn't appear to. It tells you if you have rank, you can spend bond in order to, and if you have it with an NPC, you can spend bond too. But it's not. I can't see anywhere in the rules where it talks about earning more rank.
Yeah, just because I would have thought that'd be a natural part of like having the
It
whole
would seem
mechanic.
logical. It would
Yeah.
seem logical as part of just the developing story. I'll see if there's anything in the small print because I spotted some stuff between last time I ran this and now in the small print. But no, right now what you have is what you're stuck with.
Yeah.
Mario, Lucia has 3 rank to allocate. Where's Lucia putting that? I'm not surprised to see 1 with Morgana, given that there's a degree of romantic interest. Where do you want to put the other 2?
For sure, I will have 1 with Percival because I think as I have the cursed weapon and there is a demon involved in the story, maybe I just feel some sort of curiosity about Percival. Like I can't really put my finger on it, but I know something's up. Well, and as it's my first time on the ship, the captain certainly is some sort of authority figure. And it's quite interesting how he's doing his job with all the intrigues and everything.
Okay, well, if you will add that to that little table and untick a couple of boxes. And finally, I think, Morgana, you've done yours. You've got 1 to the ship, unless you want to increase it, and 3 to allocate to crew members, and you're spreading that evenly. Is that right?
That is correct.
Okay. So, that brings us actually fairly sensibly to a break before the next scene in the slightly ornate quarters of the Unbound. So it is 54 minutes past the hour. Shall we be back here on the hour? See you in 6.
So I looked at the rank moves for people, and I think it's just a mountebank that can't acquire more rank because I can only if I gain one with someone, I lose one with my demon, and then I can't go into negatives, right? So I can only ever really have 2 rank with anybody total.
Yeah, that seems odd, but oh well. We'll yeah. It's an ash can. There will be some frayed bits in this. In fact, we got some good feedback last time from the author who watched the previous outing and said he found that quite helpful. So, as you're making your way, I see these hulks bound together, their masts in a degree of disrepair. In the distance around them, you can see the ships, the active ships of the pirates that are anchored. And so, as you make your way, across planks connecting one to another, clambering up ladders from a low ship to a high ship, there's an opportunity here for some conversation between you before we get to our location. So, anybody want to have a conversation with anybody else?
I think Morgana is like every now and again she'll just be throwing a curious glance at Percival, and eventually just sort of slows down because I don't see Percival like going full sprint with this. She looks at him like, "You acted like fire was nothing, and not in the way I do. That's impressive."
Oh, just my clothes were wet. They couldn't catch fire.
But your flesh is unmarred. I have seen many burn marks in my time. I have several that I've covered up.
Just lucky.
I see. Well, I hope your luck never runs out if that's what luck is to you.
Thanks, Morgana.
Lucia, Captain Klaus, was there any? I suppose it's more likely to be Lucia who noticed Percival kind of leading her through this fiery door and kind of just standing in front of the flames. Lucia, you what are you thinking at this point?
It's all pretty new to me. I've never seen anybody run through fire, so I think that's just the way some people can handle it. To me, it's more of an interest how such missions go. So I would address Captain Klaus and say, is this like, do we have to run from people every time we encounter other pirates, or do we have maybe friends or something?
Friends is a tangible term, the young gal. Tangible term. They come and they go, they do. They come and they go. So, no, keep your friends close and your enemies closer. That's what I say. You don't get to be a salty sea dog like me by having many friends.
Okay, so the tales are true then, and I should expect to have a couple of bar fights and entering ships and stuff. So it's like all in the old adventure books I used to read as a kid.
Oh, it's more. It's more than that. We'll have many fights, many boozes, many men and women, depending on your preference. And yes, more than you could ever want. That's for sure. If the Leviathans don't get you, because they be evil, they do. Come up from the sea, and I've seen them eat ships, let alone men. Whole ships in a oneer.
That's super exciting. I'm really glad I hired onto your crew.
I'm glad you're in the crew, girl. We need more like you. A strong arm and a brave soul. That's what we need as pirates.
And then I fetch a bottle of rum from one of my pockets and I reach it towards the captain. Have a drink.
I think what
Good
we've
on you.
seen.
Good on you.
I think what we've just seen is a good character moment. So I think that the captain and Lucia can add a point of luck that they can spend in session. Remember, that will recharge to your Spitfire in the next session. So don't be shy about using luck. And so we cut. Now, Morgana was in the process of telling me something about where the Unbound are to be found before I cut us off and we went for a break. So, Morgana, do you want to pick up with telling us something about where the Unbound are to be found?
Yeah, it's this luxurious old merchant trader ship, very spiffy wood, like the kind of things you wouldn't expect someone who's just going to get a ship that's going to be shot at to make.
So built as a almost a pleasure galleon rather than a functional one.
Yes.
And who are you likely to know here, if anybody?
At the Pirates' Haven, probably Uncle. Let's just call him Uncle. Everyone in the Unbound knows him as Uncle because he's just like that sort of distant but familial hand.
And once you get into the guild, and once you join the Unbound, all men of a certain age become uncle, and all women of a certain age become auntie.
Yep.
Yeah. So Uncle is probably head of the guild here. He's the elder uncle, great uncle, in fact. And so. How do the Unbound? There's it seems like it's organized, but it's not very. It's a bit ad hoc in the relationship. People come, they go. So how do you get to talk to Great Uncle?
I believe I have to show with my tattoo. I have to show off my faction tattoo to show that I am one of the dedicated Unbound.
And that will get you straight into a meeting with Great Uncle, with the captain and your crewmates. Lucia, tell me what Great Uncle looks like, apart from the tattoos, because we know they're all tattooed.
He's a pretty tall guy, and most notably, he apparently likes to wear dresses, like not really the dresses we expect to have to see women wearing, but it's just like a proper man dress, just his style.
So a kind of sarong or something that is, anybody could wear it. In fact, Percival, I'd like you to size up Great Uncle's cabin, please. Because you're always looking about, aren't you?
Yeah. I'll I'm looking around. Maybe I'm always looking for one of my contracts, because one of my items is a hit list, professional or personal. And perhaps one of my contracts is I know it to be a member of the Unbound. And so whatever port that we go into, I'm always looking for, I think one of the ants perhaps is on my list. So yes, I size it up.
Roll plus vinegar.
Well,
no. Because if I just give you answers, you will know that because you could fail, and I'm denying you the opportunity to fail.
True. Yeah. So I got a 6. No, a 7. Sorry.
A 7. So no experience, but there is a lot of very valuable fabric here. Clearly, the sarong that Great Uncle is wearing is very rich, but you can see a whole, they're neatly folded in that cabinet behind him, next to those large windows looking out over the haven. Just thought I'd tell you that.
So there's some so just to clarify, it's very valuable things that I could possibly steal, is what I'm getting from that. Like,
You've noticed them.
Okay.
It's strange how your eye is often drawn to the shiny things or the high quality things, and the sheen on this silk. He's clearly traded with the distant isles to get this collection of sarongs that are in that cabinet next to those large bow windows overlooking the rest of the haven. Okay, we know, Morgana, I think what you were interested in finding out, but what do we see in here?
Morgana comes in, and even though she's dressed like she's going to work on a ship, she's not in a feminine outfit. She does like this. It looks almost like a curtsy, or people who know ballet, it's more of like a minuet, I think is the correct term, but just like a weird pose to show respect and talent. And she stands up and has this wide grin. I think like there's like this. I think no, there isn't a wide grin. There's just a bit of like flat resting bitch face for a while, and like a tension between them until they both burst out laughing and hug each other.
Welcome, niece. Welcome. What could I do for you?
It's been too long since I've seen you, Uncle. Your style is always so much better than the uncle at Mermaid Cove. But I'm not here just for compliments, as you know. I have come with a great band of friends, and we are looking for someone who did not show up to an agreed appointment. So, and you know how contractual obligations are.
Well, introduce me to your friends, niece.
Oh, of course. This is the captain, the great Count Klaus. Killer. And I think she goes into like the spiel, but the Leviathan he killed, the name, like even like a small, like a back of the VHS spiel of his accounts. And like, if you want to know more, you have fine liquor to share with him. This is Percival. I would have no one else watch my back. And Lucia, our young ingenue, like I was so many years ago under your tutelage.
Oh, I remember that, niece. I remember that.
I still have the burns.
How green you were. How green you were.
I still have the burns.
And he'll bow politely to the captain. He bows politely to Lucia. And this and he put, gentlemen, because I will just remind us what he's seeing.
I don't think he looks quite so bloody and murderous as that in this particular scene. That's when he's in his sparrow work, perhaps. Yeah.
So, Morgana, do tell. Who is this?
We talking about Percival or the person I'm looking for?
Percival, I think.
Percival is a fine friend. We have shared many drinks, many other drugs, and many fine times. He is. I think she clasps his shoulders tightly, and he can feel the muscles underneath her fingers, like just how. And he saw that punch, so I mean, he knows what she can do. He is my muse on the sea. He inspires me to keep going.
Morgana, you do me too much credit. Uncle.
Go ahead.
I was just going to say, Uncle, I must say, fine dress. I would expect nothing more of any of Morgana's friends. Like your sense of fashion is unbelievable.
And he will take the bow. He'll take the compliment. But then, who are you looking for, Morgana?
Savannah. I forget her last. Savannah
Sampson.
Samson. Yeah, Savannah Samson. An alliterative minx who is outwitting us. Well, or at least outpacing us.
Well, this conversation seems to have gone quite well so far. So I think to see where this conversation ends up, I need you to roll to parlay.
Oh, yay, my worst stat.
What are you? But you have to offer something.
I think I'm offering. Maybe if I can, Captain, offer passage on our ship for something the Unbound need to get somewhere else.
Captain?
Aye, that sounds like a fair deal for the information.
Fine. Well, Uncle nods sagely as if to say, well, that's a good opening bid. Let's talk about it. So I think let's roll the dice and see how things go.
I got a 9 out of everything. I'm surprised.
On 7 to 9, they want to see you hold up your end of the bargain first, or they change the terms. It's not so much people that we need carried. We need some valuable cargo carried. Would that be agreeable, Captain?
Aye, we have space in the hold. We can carry a cargo.
Then I give me the rest of the evening. Come back tomorrow morning, and I will have determined whether I can find Savannah Sampson for you.
Time be a-pressing, that's the problem. There be some pirates chasing us. I may need to leave port quickly.
My difficulty, Captain, is that I don't know where she is. I can agree to find her, and Morgana will know the Unbound are scattered all across the haven. So once the word goes out, but I would need hours at least.
Captain, when have we ever run from pirates? I say, if you want, you get on the ship, and if we need to, you can cut loose. But I will defend you and our ship to the very end.
True, but being caught in port is being different from being caught out at sea. And at port, we are not strong. So times are pressing, so cast your net, Uncle, but I expect an answer soon. That's for sure.
Oh, Captain. Expectations do we have? I will do what I can. Return in a handful of hours, then, if you will not wait till morning's light.
So
and that would be the small hours of the morning, I think we're talking about.
We shall be here. Farewell, Uncle.
Morgana, I look forward to seeing you in a few hours.
And I think she's actually just nods. She's a bit silent because she's never heard anyone talk to Uncle that way.
And I think then we'll cut that scene. Where do you want to spend the intervening hours, folks? Or do you want to spend them together or separately? Do each of you have something you want to go and do?
So
go on, Percival.
I was going to propose that perhaps Morgana and Percival would, watch the entertainment in this House of the Unbound for the next couple of hours. And I think that Percival would be asking Morgana, so is this where you grew up? This kind of place?
Oh, yes. These kinds of ships, these different ports of call, a different island every moon, pretty much.
Everyone's so loud and happy.
Well, lots of us don't get a choice of this lifestyle. Parents will whelp their children. They die. They don't want them. Here, we get a chance. And if it takes a few tattoos and a few burns to be able to make art and enhance people's lives and find family, it's a price to pay.
Yeah, I suppose every upbringing has its price. Yeah. Must have been nice, though.
Well, I mean, it's nice. There's good parts, there's bad parts. It's a family, and every family has its dysfunctions.
Yes, you should meet my grandparents. They're awful.
I think that counts as a rich character moment. So I think you can each add a bit of luck. At a point of luck. So Percival and Morgana, are you up to staying with the Unbound, or do you have something else in mind?
I think I am going to have some of my siblings in the Unbound give Percival like the best show they can if he wants to stay. But I swore to keep the captain safe. I am staying with the captain.
So, Captain, do you stay for the show, or do you have something else in mind?
I would actually like a scene on the dockside, really between me and the boatswain of the ship, who goes by the name of Hamlet No Smile Thorn. So I'll be telling the boatswain.
So just hang on a sec. So Morgana is with you on the dockside then, given her declared intention to stay with the captain. I just need to know whether Lucia is going to stay with Percival for the show, go with the captain and Morgana, or go somewhere else.
Did the captain signal anything to Lucia? Because she would follow him around as it's not familiar. The terrain is not familiar to her yet.
Captain?
I'm expecting an attack, Lucia, so keep your wits about you. The choice is yours, but there's strength in numbers. That's all I'll say. The choice is yours. But I have some prep before we go to sea.
Well, that sounds that you would need any sword or whip you can get to help you. So
of course.
I'm willing to help then.
Excellent. More the merrier.
So let's cut to the three of you on the dockside talking, or the hulk to which the cat is tied up, talking to No Smile Thorn. Captain?
Thorn, my man, we've run into some trouble, so I need you to get the crew together quickly and rigger for a quick sail from the dock. Get any supplies we need for a journey. We still have some business here, but I'm expecting some no-good ruffians to come our way, so we may need to repel borders.
Well, I gave one watch shore leave, Captain, but I'll rouse up the second watch to start checking in supplies.
A good call. And get a man out there to get the first watch back as soon as you can.
I'll send Billy the cabin boy.
Billy the cabin boy's a good choice. I like him, I do. So
she's a fine boy, she is.
She is. I do like a fine boy. Good at their job. So, with all haste, whip the men, boatswain.
Captain.
We expect trouble. Morgana, Lucia, let's go to an inn and keep our ears to the ground and keep a low profile, as it would be.
Is this a tavern, a drinking establishment on the dock near the cat, or deeper into the haven near the Unbound's galleon?
I think a lot closer to the Unbound. I don't want to set a bad example for the crew. I'll ask them to return to ship. So, and I don't, if they're looking for me personally, because they may have found some artifact of mine in the burning sodden frog. I don't really want them to go anywhere near the ship. So, yes, further in near the Unbound.
Just to reassure you, you did very well on that hoodwink roll. So they're not going to catch on soon.
Okay, but I did leave some evidence.
You did. As the poor old landlord of the Soggy Frog is sorting through the fire damage. I wonder what you'll find. So let's cut to the hold of the Unbound's galleon as Morgana's siblings put on a show the like of which Percival has never seen. And I think I'd like you to twist fate, please, Percy.
Sure thing.
So you roll plus Spitfire.
Yes, which is a +1. And I get 12.
Oh, right. On a hit, pick one of the following options. You remember something hidden in your pockets. What is it and how do you get it? You notice something overlooked in this area that might help you. What is it? You find a flaw or vulnerability in your opponent, as broadly described as you like. Describe it. The weather, the wind, or the tides change. How do they help?
I think it would probably be, I noticed something overlooked in this area that might help me. What is it? And I'm not really sure. Short of Uncle betraying us and me catching him talking to people ahead of time, I can only think of finding a way to steal those luxury scarves for myself.
Well, then, I think what you notice is that Uncle is out of his cabin and circulating among the various members of the Unbound. This isn't their performance space per se. They tend to go out and perform. So this is kind of backstage, if you will. And he's going around, he's talking to the various performers. And you notice that he's left his cabin door ajar.
Yeah, well, I think I'd try and sneak in there and steal something while the stealing is good. Maybe like put on like a fine shirt underneath my own clothing or something, like just so I can. I think maybe like, I don't know, maybe the demon's a bit of a magpie type thing, like always looking for stuff, and then so Percy just ends up with all this finery acquired from different places.
So that definitely sounds like break in. Roll
Yes.
plus blood. I remember you can spend luck to add 1 to a roll before you roll it.
So, but can you not also spend luck to treat it as though you did plus 10? A 10
On
plus?
a twist fate.
On a twist fate, I see. A twist fate. I won't spend luck. And I get 8.
So, on a hit, you've gotten in. So you've got into the cabin with nobody noticing, because the performance has gone well. You've thanked the siblings, and so all the attention now is on Uncle as he's doing his rounds. And so you've just slipped into his cabin. On a 79, the fate, you choose one of those though.
I think I will. I think I'm going to suffer harm, and I think what it is that I'm in there and I'm stealing it, and someone starts to come into the cabin, and I basically there's an open window, and Percy manages to squirm his way out of it, but in doing so, scratches himself up on the ship on the way out, basically.
Okay, mark 1 harm. By the way, it does occur to me that your hard-won moment of humanity in your conversation earlier should untick bedeviled.
Oh, cool.
For now. Yeah?
Yeah.
So fine. So you slip away at the cost of 1 harm with a silk shirt stuffed down the front of your tunic. And where do you go then, Percival?
I think I wander to go try and find the crew, but perhaps I follow the desires of grandfather wherever they lead me. Across,
So on a 79, I get to pick one as well, and I think you leave evidence or attract attention. I think you leave evidence in the form of a torn piece of cloth from your hooded cloak on the window frame. Yeah.
I was either going to suggest that or Smythe's watch.
No, I think I want you to keep Smythe's watch for a while. And unless the captain, Morgana, and Lucia want to do anything, the hours will pass, and you will head back to the Unbound galleon. Yeah. And Percival, just remind me: are you aiming to come back with the crew?
Yeah, I am. Yeah.
Can't resist temptation, does young Percival. And so you are invited back into Uncle's cabin. And he says, well, remarkably difficult as it's been, Morgana, I found Samson. She's at dinner with Magda the Brave Moth, who's a captain. And in the league table of captains, I think that Magda is in the same kind of league as Count Klaus Wittstein. Witches. I've forgotten his second name. Wichman. Yeah. So yeah, she's currently on board Captain Magda's ship. So if you wanted to find her, that's where you would go. I consider my end of the deal held up, Captain. Can I get the cargo delivered?
Aye, that seems fair. Your word's your bond, so deliver your cargo to the Black Cat. My boatswain will take it on board, but tell me now, is it hazardous to my crew or ship?
No more hazardous than any other valuable cargo, Captain.
Then fine, and I'll spit in my hand, then shake on it.
And Uncle will spit in his hand and clasp your hand like a true gentleman. And so I'm going to close that scene out unless somebody else wants to do something. And as he sees you out the door, he says to Percival, "Oh, that's a nasty scratch you've got there, lad. Take care."
Well, you know, it's tight quarters down in the Soggy Frog.
Yes, but you beware, lockjaw, beware.
He gives a charming smile and just follows on with the rest of the crew.
And so, how do you want to approach Savannah now? If she's at dinner with Captain Magda, Morgana?
I think I want to spend a point of luck to get a 10+ on Spitfire and have the weather, tides, or fate change. And I think Magda's crew are out partying because they believe she's if this is how this works, that they're out partying believing she's going to be the next pirate queen or maybe the first pirate queen. So her ship is...
I think you have to tie it back to the sea in some way, or the weather.
Okay. Then all her crew is on board as the weather starts raining, and they are, so we can be able to see how many people we're dealing with.
Fine. So yeah, I think I'd give you some kind of advantage when you came to size it up in detail. Does that seem fair? Okay. Yeah, the wind's getting up, and let's say that Magda's ship is on the windy side of the haven, whereas the Cat is anchored on the more sheltered side. The winds have come around and are blowing up, while the rest of the hulks, because there's so many of them, they're bound together, they're pretty stable. Those ships that are anchored around the edge, that are tied up around the edge of the haven, are more subject to this. So yeah, I think as you approach, what's the name of her ship, Captain?
The Uncanny Walrus.
The Uncanny Walrus. Okay.
Can I just? I'm trying to get my head around the mechanics of just what happened, because I don't get spend one fate and I automatically get 10+. Yep.
Sorry. Yeah. So it's possible to spend one luck to twist fate as if you had rolled 10+. So rather than making Morgana roll for twist fate, because that's what Morgana wanted to happen,
Yeah.
We just cut to the chase and spent the luck to get the 10 plus. And on 7 to 9, so as if 10 plus on a hit, pick one of the following options. The weather, wind, or tide changes to your advantage.
Okay, and you can spend luck on any roll, is it? To get 10 plus?
You can spend twist fate. You can spend a luck to make twist fate as if you would roll 10 plus. So if you roll to twist fate and it's not good enough, you could retrospectively, for instance, spend luck to get it to 10 plus. In the case of where's it gone? Down 1. Take +1 forward, but you must spend the luck before rolling. So if you wanted, if you thought this is a really important roll, I will hazard luck to get +1.
Okay, got it.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And there are certain other things that just require you to spend luck, but there's no choice in that. So yeah, the crew is out and about. How do you want to come at the uncanny walrus, Captain? Openly, or well, you tell me.
I'm favouring action. We're a party of action people. Let's have some action. Let's kidnap her. Let's do something nasty.
So, how does this kidnap unfold, Captain? Because this is your idea. What's the plan?
Okay, so we've got horrendous weather. Yep, courtesy of Morgana. So I don't think their crew's going to be particularly paying much attention. They're going to be, trying to get out of the weather. So I think we're going to try and...
They're lashing binnacles to spindles and all kinds of stuff.
Yeah, I think we're going to break in, but I'd like to see that as some sort of group action. Yeah. I don't know if there's any group action.
There isn't really. There's the option to spend your bond. If you have rank with a crewmate, you can spend bond to assist or hinder that crewmate. Add or subtract 1 from their roll. Use them as inspiration and stand your ground. Push them to greatness or force them to stumble. Add 1 to any roll against them. Use them as inspiration and stand your ground. So spending bond is like a help roll, as long as you can narratively make it work. Yeah.
I just don't really want to make everybody make a break-in roll, because mechanically they're bound to suffer.
That's fine. I think if you identify where you're going to break in, let's go blades. What is your point of entry?
Our point of entry is going to be the captain's quarters are at the back of the ship. Clearly, it's the best cabin. So we're going to try and swing in, and break in through the captain's quarters, through the windows at the back.
Could I suggest? We lost Mario.
Hang on. Sorry, Mario. I don't know what happened then.
He's still here.
He's still there. I would imagine. I mean, this sounds like the swashbuckler is at the sharp end of this, and then the rest of you are following up. Because swinging on ropes through windows defines swashbuckling. So, Lucia, how the captain wants you to swing through that window, and then they'll follow up. Honest. So, how are you going to do it? What do we see, Lucia?
Well, we have Morgana within the crew, so this needs to be like a real cool move, because I'm not really getting any affection back. So I will use my whip, and then just come in swinging through the window. Will land on a desk, like on 2 feet and 1 hand on the desk, and then just from one of the pockets on my backside, I have this side weapon, and I will draw a dagger out, and and stare like it's a table right in front of our target, and I will stare blank in her eyes.
Okay, well, I think that counts as when you make a move with outrageous style. So yeah, we see the whip crack and wrap itself over the around the balustrade around the back of the ship, and you swing out and crash through the windows at the back. And I think before we describe anything else, I need to know how well that flourish went. Yeah. So I think this is break-in, but there are the potential with the flourish to have some knobs on it.
Okay.
So you roll 3, and then you tell me whether you take the top 2 on a straightforward break-in, or whether you want to take the lowest 2, and then you might get a less good break-in, but you'd have a flourish to play with. Does that make sense?
Yeah, but I rolled really badly, so I just. Well, no, I'm risking it. So I take the 4, have a crash landing, I guess.
Well, tell me, so we know the break-in is going to be a problem, but look at the options under flourish, Lucia, and tell me which one of those apply. Unless someone has a move that could improve failure to marginal success.
I can't improve the failure, but I can take your consequence.
Okay, well, let's see where that goes. So which of those flourishes do you want to choose, Lucia?
Well, the only thing I really want to do is to impress Morgana.
Okay, but I thought you were going to try and stare out Savannah when you landed in front of her on the 3-point superhero landing.
Well, the only reason I went first as the newbie is to show Morgana that I'm like real badass woman, and it's totally worth to spend some more time with me.
Okay, so in the words of the move, then you impress someone. Describe how they act as a result. So is this the point, Morgana, at which you step in and take the consequence? Because I noticed that your heart of gold, you have chosen to take a consequence the fate gave to somebody in the crew. So I need to say that the entire officer complement of Magda's crew, so in effect, her equivalents to you lot, are around the table with Savannah. Morgana, how do you deal with that consequence as you crash through the window behind Lucia?
I think I posit myself as the bigger threat. Lucia has a whip. I pull out my I call it a gutting dagger, but there's like this special short sword which has a hook on the end they would use to climb up ships. And she pulls that out and stares down Magda and grins evilly. Anyone who wants to keep me from you should better get a head start.
So the windows have crashed in, Captain. In has gone Lucia, followed by Morgana. Who are you putting in next, yourself or Percival?
I think we'll send the action man in first. There you go, Percival. Unleash the dogs of war, my man. Unleash the dogs of war.
Captain.
Okay, Percival. So we've cut from that Morgana's challenge inside the cabin to you being the captain tapping you on the back and saying, "Go for it, lad." What do we see?
I mean, I guess it's backing up Morgana. I think maybe that was maybe like a grappling hook attached to the other side, to the end of your rope. So when you smash in, it's like now it's like a zip line, you know. I think he zips down, and I have a pistol, and I think I will come straight down the thing and just fire it as soon as I come in, basically at the first guy getting out of his chair. Like,
Okay, I think that's probably Magda's lieutenant, her most loyal cohort. Are you triggering that thing you can do as a sparrow?
I mean, I don't know if that would count. I just don't know if you would expect someone, Batman, to sweep in through the window and shoot him in the face, but maybe.
I think that Morgana's challenge, everyone's looking at Morgana.
Yeah, then sure. I would love to take the sparrow move.
So tell me about it.
So the sparrow move is I can kill any unaware human in one blow, as I'm a trained assassin.
So I think we see the lieutenant again, because we're dealing with 15 plus here. We see him looking at Morgana. We see you sweep through the window and level the pistol, and we cut to you as you fire, roll, and stand up or something. And Morgana, the lieutenant who was facing you, crumples to the ground. What do you do, Morgana?
I think she thumps her chest once. Good one. And is that she and Lucia are on the Lucia's on the table, correct?
In front of Savannah, I think we decided. Was that where you were aiming to get to, Lucia?
Exactly.
Fine. So Lucia's in front of Savannah. The captain is at the other end of the table, with the crew around her, bar one lieutenant. What do you do, Morgana?
I'll shout out to Lucia. Get her. I'll keep everyone else off you.
How are you going to get? So Savannah is I have to say shocked, and she's a very attractive woman, very well dressed. She has a powdered wig. What do you do, Lucia?
Okay, so I get back to my whip, and I'll try to use my whip to wrap it around. Sorry, what was the name?
Savannah.
Savannah, exactly. To wrap it around Savannah, and then just dragging her with me. Maybe we use the door this time.
The rest of the crew are on deck.
Does this sort of sound like a dirty trick?
I think it is exactly a dirty trick. Shall we see how the dirty trick goes? Because I quite like the idea of, with a flick of the wrist, you throwing her out the window. Remember we're in Pirates of the Caribbean here. Physics is a vague outline. So
that sounds perfect.
When you use a dirty trick, roll plus vinegar.
It is a 10. You're muted.
On a 10, you get away clean. Or you can up the ante. So I think, I'm seeing the whip wrap around her and you swing her out the window. Yeah. Onto the deck, onto the dock beside the captain, unless he's got a better idea. You can go with her, or you can up the ante, whatever that might mean. What's your choice, Lucia?
I'm all for the risky action. I still have people to impress and get the word out that there is a new girl within a pirate community that people should be afraid of.
So who are you challenging?
Who's the biggest person?
I tell you what, roll to size up, Lucia. Roll plus vinegar to... no, that doesn't work. I will tell you, Captain Magda is the hulking woman at the far end of the table, who's getting up and drawing a cutlass. I tell you what, while you were flicking our friend Savannah out the window, Morgana, The officers are coming at you. What do?
I take my sword and swing it to the side, chopping the table in half before using my offhand to sling that half of the table at them using fisticuffs to try and smash them against the wall of the ship.
I think that's just fine. Roll with fisticuffs, please. Roll plus blood. Oh, you do have to mark. You do have to mark angry.
Yep. Oh dear, that's a 13.
So you slice through the table, you hurl it at them. We see them being thrown back against the bulkhead by the table, leaving a big space in the middle of the room with Magda at one end, you and Percival at the other. I think I will compel. She will say something like, "You brute!" And of course, you are much, much finer boned than she is. So I think that counts as an insult.
Oh.
And as I've insulted you, you will fly into a rage and do something dumb. What do, Morgana?
I think she I know, she brute, I am an artist of the body, can't you? And she smashes her fist against the wall that was towards the crew, and the wall just does that comedic Disney thing of falling back, and all the crew is now seeing that Magda is all alone fighting us.
I think that's lovely. So Lucia, if you wanted to up the ante, you now have all the crew staring in through this fallen bulkhead. But before that, Captain, Savannah is at your feet in some confusion and a flurry of petticoats. What do?
I will doff my hat where she will see my slightly balding head and horrendously greasy locks, as if I've rubbed a pound of butter on my head. And I will sort of be dribbling as well, sort of, "My lady, will extract my crew from that position and you will be away with us." But I would like to size up what is going on the ship and maybe the intention of depending on the role.
Look, I mean, I don't think I need to have you roll to size up. The crew is facing now the entire crew of the Uncanny Walrus, all of whom resemble walruses in terms of their necklace, broad-shoulderedness. And so I think that the Lucia, Percival, and Morgana either need to come back out through the windows or go through the crew.
Can I actually sort of, I don't want to remove any agency, but my only move is command.
I think they've had plenty of agency to date. They've been knocking down walls and destroying cabins left, right, and center. I think Captain's command.
Very well. I will whistle to my crew. Extract yourselves, crew. We have our prize.
What I'm going to suggest, because the way that works is when you choose a command of your crew, spend X bond with any crew and roll plus bond. So who have you got most bond with?
I've got one with each of them.
So which one do you think, if you successfully commanded to leave, would encourage the other two to follow?
To be honest, I can clearly see that Morgana's gone a bit butt crazy. So I think she needs some heavy command from the dock side, and I'm hoping the rest have got enough intelligence to withdraw.
Fine. So roll. So you will spend a bond with. Spend whatever bond you want with Morgana. So that's spend one, and roll plus one.
And I roll with my polish. Yep.
You do.
Okay.
Oh no, you don't. For the crew, you just roll plus bond. I tell you what, spend the bond for each of them and roll +3. That makes much more sense.
Okay. Oh, well, because my command ability, on the other hand, it does say roll plus polish.
Only when it's an
Interested crowd. Okay, yeah, no, that's fine. So, yeah, I've got no problem with that at all.
So spend each of the bonds for all 3 of them and roll +3. I think that makes more sense. Otherwise, it's a really crappy move.
Okay, so, yeah, I rolled 7 plus 3, 10.
So on a 10 plus, choose 2. They can be compelled by any weakness or by their health going dark. They are on a hit. They are compelled to do as you say, and then you can also choose 2. Given that it's 5 minutes to finish, I would suggest that doesn't matter, because once you're off that ship, I'm going to close out.
Sweet. Yeah, it's just a final order. Anything that I can give them some gravitas to Morgana to get her head straight.
So unless the rest of you want to stand your ground, the command is back to the cat, lads and lasses.
I think Morgana will get close to Lucia and like put an arm around her, because she's not. I don't think Lucia is that clever with keeping her feelings hidden. It's like, show me that trick with the whip again. Get us across.
Yeah, and I won't make Lucia roll for that. I think that we see, from the captain's perspective, we see the whip snake out of the window, wrap around a bit of rigging, and I think probably all 3 of you swing out through the window and land on the deck, and we'll close out the credits, I think, as you head off, probably with Morgana carrying Savannah over her shoulder. Yeah. And that is our game for tonight then. I would like to have a quick stars and wishes just for anything that went well or wishes for next time. Can I go swiftly around the character keeper, because I don't want to keep you too long? Let's start with Captain Wickman. Paul, any stars?
Yeah, I think stars all round for the other people. It's a really good world creation gone on there. And really people working well together as a team, which I expect a pirate group to be. So, but some intrigue, some nice underlying intrigue with Nasty Percival. So, yes, very good.
Okay. Will, any stars?
Again, just the whole world building and the character stuff. It was great to have. I feel like we made this sort of little bit of the sea our own.
Mario, stars?
Yeah, I'm super into world building, and I really enjoy the map and this the little fluff text that comes with the playbooks.
Yeah, I think they're quite nice. Ferret, any stars?
Again, stars all around. Like Paul's captain voice has me enraptured. Percival is my muse by being a bastard, and Lucia is so wonderfully puppy-eyed. I am going to be the best pirate ever in 1 year.
Yeah, I'd endorse that. Background, I first met Paul in a pirate game where he was playing a captain. This was a much more civilized captain than when I met first time, I tell you that. Happily, we are playing with lines and veils. No, it's great, folks. My big star to you is your perseverance and patience while I grapple with some of these rules. And thank you for helping out on the way. Wishes for next time. Let me go back the other way. Start with Ferret. Any wishes you have for Morgana or anybody else or anything else next time?
I wish to use my heart of gold more often, just so everyone else get in trouble.
Okay, well, I'll do my best. What can I say? Mario, wishes?
All the wishes just are about my preparation, because I flipped through the rules and I thought it was pretty rules light. But now that I see all the moves in front of me and the whole character sheet, I find myself quite distracted from what's going on. And I really struggle with finding the right words in that combination with being distracted with the character keeper and everything. So I hope to be better prepared.
You know, don't feel you need to invest time in this. We've got a four shot here, so we've got time to get to grips with the rules. You know, if we miss something, I spent an entire 2-shot ignoring the fisticuffs costs to compel last time. So you know, we've got all the time in the world. Will, any wishes for next time?
I'm sort of struggling with the demonic thing and the sparrow thing. Like the demon is I feel like I'm very, very supernatural in all of my character moves, and also have like an inherent cost even to roll for everything, which I think is fair. But I'm just sort of, you know, I kind of thought I would be led around by the demon and the stuff like that. But as I actually come to make moves and make decisions, I'm finding it hard to work out how do I do this and how do we make it work.
I mean, the only move that they have on you is size up. The rest are yours.
No, I know, but I mean in terms of the playbook moves. So like I'm pretty much just doing dark magic. So like Morgana has like fisticuffs and Lucia has flourish and things like that. Whereas mine is kind of like do some random weird thing that might or might not be useful depending on what you roll, and are also quite specific to sort of being like solitary and kind of like stalkery. Like so I'm an assassin, right? I can't roll as a posse and do that. Or my other ones are like pickpocket and thief, but. Well, look,
yeah. If I think it is undoubtedly this is the magic user class. The chronicler has a bit of that, but that's more like ritual and long term. So look, if the mountebank isn't working for you, feel free to unhide the others and have a look.
Yeah, I might do. I mean, I like the idea of it a lot. I think maybe just because when it says about that secret, I think maybe I'm going to have to make the secret not be the demonic powers. And the secret will have to be something else, because I like the idea of him being all supernatural and stuff. It's just that the way that they manifest doesn't really lend itself to, doing many constructive things, like taking on a room full of people. At best I could have turned into a bear that was human-sized.
Well, look, give that a bit of thought, because I think it is one of the more specialist. But that may be that I just need to provide more arcane context. I don't know.
So the only thing I did note as well is that I like the idea of him being a magpie with a thing, but that would be one of the compels that you get from being a fingersmith is you steal something constantly. So I think the sparrow is pretty much all about you have this hit list and you murder people kind of thing. So
yeah, well, maybe I need to start complicating your life, because I was hoping that you were going to say that you'd spotted Auntie in the Unbound.
Oh, well, I mean that was sorry, that was me throwing it to you to basically say like you could put her there if you wanted to or not.
Okay. Well, give it some thought. I wouldn't mind you changing if you wanted to, because if it's not playing the way you thought it would, then
I'll give it another session and we'll see how it goes. Yeah.
Okay. Paul, any wishes for next time?
Just some sort of maybe some ship-based combat or something to do with the crew. Special. I like everybody else's special moves. I think they're great, but mine's actually pretty boring.
Well, again, if the captain isn't working out the way you want,
no, he is. I don't mind that. I think if we're doing something that's I've got the crew.
Mm-hmm.
All's fine. No, I really enjoyed today's session. So it wasn't that I didn't have anything to do. It's not that at all. I just wouldn't mind using that move, not with other players, more with NPCs.
Yeah, fine. With more success than you did with the patrons of the Soggy Frog. I get it.
Well, yeah, shit happens.
Okay, so I need to provide you with opportunities to use that with NPCs. Fine, I'll do my best next time. Okay, we've overrun by 5. I'm sorry, I will stop the broadcast, so bye to the internet.